Have you ever considered that actions taken just 30 minutes after eating could subtly yet profoundly impact your lifespan? Over the years, many people tend to focus primarily on their diet's composition, reducing sugar, increasing fiber, and controlling portions. However, the timing and manner of our post-meal actions are far less discussed, even though these habits influence longevity just as much as food choices themselves. These 30 minutes after a meal represent a critically important window. If one unknowingly makes one of 5 common mistakes during this period, they risk placing excessive strain on their digestive system, cardiovascular function, and overall health. We will now delve into 5 actions to avoid within half an hour of eating, especially if aging with mental clarity, physical strength, and vitality is a priority. It's crucial to emphasize that we are not discussing radical restrictions or complex medical procedures, but rather simple yet effective adjustments. These help your body perform its natural functions, absorbing nutrients, maintaining balance, and recovering. Each of these minor, almost imperceptible changes has the potential to protect internal organs, optimize metabolic processes, and even reduce the long-term risk of chronic diseases. Perhaps this knowledge of what not to do after eating will prove to be the most powerful longevity advice you've ever heard. Even implementing just one such change today could add valuable years to your life. Mistake number 1: lying down immediately after eating. One of the most common errors, particularly noticeable in older age, is the habit of reclining right after a meal. At first glance, this might seem entirely harmless. What could be more natural than resting and relaxing a bit after a hearty lunch or dinner? However, when you lie down or recline within the first 30 minutes after eating, you don't aid your body's relaxation. Instead, you significantly complicate its work. The essence is that digestion largely depends on gravity. Food moves sequentially down the esophagus into the stomach, then into the intestines. If you lie down too soon, this natural downward flow is disrupted. With age, the muscles responsible for moving food, particularly the lower esophageal sphincter, can weaken. In a horizontal position, stomach acid can more easily flow back into the esophagus, causing the unpleasant sensation of heartburn. Anyone who has experienced burning in their chest or throat after a nap or late-night snack understands how uncomfortable and potentially dangerous this can be. Over time, chronic acid reflux can lead not only to constant discomfort, but also to erosion of the esophageal lining, inflammatory processes, and a significantly increased risk of more serious health problems in the future. But the negative consequences don't stop there. When digestion is disrupted, your body has to work much harder to fully absorb nutrients. Insufficient absorption then impacts energy levels, weakens the immune system, and can even impair brain health. Consider Frank, a former truck driver in his 70s. Every day after lunch, he would habitually recline in his chair, claiming it helped his back and provided a much-needed break. However, he constantly complained of a scratchy throat and chronic fatigue. When Frank simply started staying upright for at least 30 minutes after eating, his condition changed dramatically. The burning sensation disappeared, his energy returned, and his body stopped fighting itself. He finally got the support he needed. This doesn't mean you should completely forego rest. You can read, relax, or socialize, but remain in a seated position, allowing gravity to assist your stomach. If the urge to lie down is irresistible, it's recommended to wait at least 30 minutes, or ideally a full hour. Give your body enough time to begin the digestive process before changing your position. This one simple habit might seem minor, but over time it determines the difference between quiet health deterioration and slow, steady recovery. Supporting digestion isn't just about what we eat, but also how we support our body after eating. The older we get, the more we should respect these silent internal systems that tirelessly work for our health. Mistake number 2: intense physical activity immediately after eating. There's a long-standing and widespread belief that a walk right after a meal aids digestion. Indeed, light movement can improve blood flow and reduce sluggishness. However, it's very easy to cross a fine line, especially if you're over 60 and your body no longer recovers with the same speed and efficiency as in youth. Brisk walking or any other intense physical activity undertaken immediately after eating may not help, but rather harm digestion. Here's why. After a meal, your body enters a parasympathetic state, often called rest and digest mode. At this point, blood flow is redirected to the stomach and intestines to efficiently break down and absorb nutrients. But if you start moving too quickly, especially intensely, e.g., brisk walking, climbing stairs, light jogging, your body has to redirect blood away from the digestive system and back to your muscles. In essence, your stomach and limbs begin to compete for the same vital resources. This tug-of-war negatively impacts both systems. Digestion slows, which can manifest as bloating, cramps, and a feeling of heaviness in the abdomen. Simultaneously, muscles work less efficiently because their fuel supply system is disrupted mid-process. This problem becomes even more relevant with age, as the vascular system loses elasticity. The heart works harder, and insulin response, how the body handles blood sugar after eating, becomes less stable. These are aspects we typically don't consider until they start causing noticeable discomfort. However, decisions made after eating tend to accumulate over time. Consider the story of Carol, a 68-year-old woman who prided herself on staying active. Every evening after dinner, she would go for a brisk walk, genuinely believing it helped her stay fit. But soon, she noticed she was becoming more tired, not energized. Dizziness and abdominal discomfort appeared, and she couldn't understand the reason for her worsening well-being. When Carol started waiting 30-45 minutes before her walk, everything changed. Her energy stabilized, digestion improved, and the feeling of exhaustion completely disappeared. This doesn't mean you should sit motionless like a statue after every meal. Light activity, such as clearing dishes, gentle swaying to music, or a slow walk around the house, is perfectly acceptable. The key here is gentle, fluid movement. Move in tune with your body's internal state. Work with digestion, not against it. If in doubt, simply listen to yourself. Do you still feel full? Is your breathing calm? Is your heart working faster than usual? Do you feel tension or heaviness? If your body signals that it's struggling, it might be its direct message. Give me a little more time. Simply waiting 30 minutes can significantly impact how your body absorbs nutrients, regulates blood sugar, and stores energy. Longevity isn't just about moving more. It's about moving at the right time and at the right pace. After eating, your body needs space to do its work. And when you respect this process, you don't hinder your progress. You move forward with wisdom. Mistake number 3, drinking a large amount of cold water immediately after eating. This is a habit many of us learned in childhood, finishing a meal and immediately reaching for a tall glass of ice water. It seems refreshing, especially in warm weather. However, many don't realize that consuming a large amount of cold water right after eating can subtly but significantly disrupt the digestive process. Over time, this negatively impacts energy levels, the immune system, and even heart health. When you drink cold water, your body experiences a sharp drop in internal temperature. Your stomach, already actively processing food, is forced to compensate for this sudden temperature decrease. As a result, blood vessels in the digestive tract constrict, and enzymatic activity slows down. Fats in food, especially animal fats, begin to solidify at lower temperatures, making them significantly harder to break down and absorb. This means your body has to work longer and harder to extract necessary nutrients. For a young person with a robust metabolism, this might not seem serious. But for older adults aged 60, 70 and above, the digestive system becomes more sensitive over time and no longer handles tasks as quickly or efficiently as before. When cold water interferes with this process, it leads to slowed stomach emptying, increased bloating, and the loss of valuable nutrients. Over time, this can also disrupt the gut's ability to maintain healthy microflora, one of the most crucial pillars of the immune system in older age. Consider the story of Sam, a 70-year-old former steelworker who kept a thermos of ice water on his table at every meal. He genuinely believed it helped him stay hydrated, but he often felt a heaviness in his stomach, experienced occasional cramps, and tired quickly during the day. When he switched to warmer room temperature water with his meals, his condition changed dramatically. Digestion improved, he felt lighter, and his energy returned. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was a true relief. It's important to understand that water itself isn't the problem. On the contrary, adequate hydration after a meal is crucial. as it aids in nutrient transport and facilitates food movement through the intestines. However, the key lies in the temperature and quantity of fluid consumed. Cold water, drunk immediately after eating, creates a kind of friction in a system that at that moment needs maximum smoothness and efficiency. Consuming large volumes, especially on a full stomach, adds extra strain to an already active digestive system. What's preferable then? It's recommended to drink slowly, opting for room temperature water or warm beverages. Herbal teas like chamomile, ginger, or peppermint are particularly beneficial after meals, as they help relax the gastrointestinal tract and reduce gas and bloating. Even a few sips of warm lemon water can have a beneficial effect, gently activating the food processing. Such seemingly minor changes rarely make headlines, but over weeks and months, they build a more balanced and efficient internal system that better handles inflammation, vitamin absorption, and the optimal functioning of the heart and brain. Remember, how we treat our digestion is a reflection of how we treat our body as a whole. If we rush it, overload it, or ignore its signals, we inevitably pay the price. But if we support it, protect it, and give it what it needs, it thanks us not only with improved digestion, but also with a significantly enhanced quality of life. Mistake number 4. Taking a shower or bath immediately after eating. For many, especially in older age, a warm shower after a meal seems like a moment of comfort, a way to relax the body, ease joint pain, or prepare for the rest of the day. However, most don't realize that showering or bathing too soon after eating can subtly disrupt the body's ability to effectively digest food and absorb the nutrients so vital for maintaining strength and health. Here's what happens internally. After a meal, the digestive system becomes the body's central command center. Blood is actively directed to the stomach, liver, pancreas, and intestines to support the complex process of breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and processing glucose. But as soon as you immerse yourself in warm or hot water, your skin begins to demand increased blood flow. Your body, striving to regulate its temperature, redirects circulation to the skin's surface. This means that at the very moment your body most needs blood for digestion, there's less of it in the digestive organs. This blood redistribution might seem minor, but for older adults whose circulatory system is less flexible and efficient, it can cause subtle yet noticeable negative consequences. Impaired digestion, nausea, and sudden fatigue can result. Over time, this repeated strain on digestive organs reduces nutrient absorption and creates tension in the cardiovascular system. These are problems many people don't associate with their habits. But once people begin to understand this connection, the changes can be astonishing. Consider a conversation with Helen, a 76-year-old former schoolteacher who had a habit of showering immediately after dinner. She genuinely believed it helped her sleep better, but she would wake up at night with discomfort, heartburn, and bloating. When her doctor advised her to wait 30 to 45 minutes after eating before showering, everything changed. She felt a significant improvement. Helen's sleep improved, her digestion settled, and she felt much more comfortable in her body. This doesn't mean you should completely give up showering after meals. The question is when you do it. Give your body those 30 minutes so its internal systems can focus on the main task, digesting food, before redirecting resources to other tasks. In fact, even a short pause helps the body maintain balance and avoid confusion when different systems are activated simultaneously. If you enjoy relaxing after eating, choose activities that don't draw blood away from the body's core. Simply sit by a window, listen to calm music, or read something peaceful. These actions bring comfort and tranquility without interfering with the internal healing happening in your body. A warm shower or bath can remain part of your routine, but let it be a reward, not an automatic reaction. Allow your body to digest your food, and only then proceed with water procedures. This patience, this small act of respect, is another way to care for the systems that care for you. Mistake number 5. Problem solving or stress immediately after eating. We easily overlook what happens in our minds during the first 30 minutes after a meal. You've eaten, feel full, perhaps a little sluggish, and without thinking, you pick up your phone, read an unsettling email, start reviewing bills, or initiate a serious conversation with loved ones. But what seems like a normal part of daily life can actually profoundly impact your body's ability to rest, recover, and protect itself as you age. The fact is, digestion isn't just a physical process. It's closely linked to the nervous system. After eating, your body should be in parasympathetic mode, a state of rest and digest. But as soon as you introduce stress, whether it's financial worry, a family conflict, or even a crossword puzzle that gets your heart racing, your body immediately switches into fight or flight mode. This stress triggers the release of cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones do exactly what they're designed for. They halt digestion to conserve energy for survival. The result: slowed metabolism, gas, bloating, and blood sugar spikes. Over time, if stress is repeated after every meal, the negative consequences accumulate. The pancreas becomes overloaded, the stomach stops effectively absorbing nutrients, and immunity weakens because the body is forced to cope with food amidst emotional turmoil. Consider a man named Thomas, who was 80 years old. He had a habit of sorting through his mail during lunch. Bills, medical notices, legal letters became part of his daily routine. He thought it helped him be productive, but soon noticed he felt worse after eating. His energy dropped, and he experienced stomach discomfort. Doctors couldn't find a clear reason. But when Thomas started eating without distractions and gave himself 30 minutes after meals before opening mail or making important calls, everything changed dramatically. He not only digested food better, but also lived with greater peace. Your emotional state after eating affects not just your mood, but your health. Yes, tackling tasks, discussing important matters, and responding to challenges are normal, but timing matters. Give yourself at least 30 minutes during which your only task is to breathe, digest, and simply be in the moment. The world can wait. Your health cannot. Instead of stimulation, choose gentleness. Instead of solutions, choose presence. Instead of conflicts, choose quiet. This space helps not only digestion, but also serves your heart, brain, and peace of mind. In the long term, this tranquility becomes one of the most powerful tools for health. The decisions you make after eating don't have to be perfect. They just need to be conscious. Because it is in these quiet minutes, in these small daily decisions, that the answer lies to how long and how well you will live. In conclusion, I want to remind you of something simple, yet profoundly important. The small actions you take after each meal don't just affect how you feel in the moment. They shape your future health. What stood out to you the most? Which of these 5 habits might you have been ignoring, unaware of the harm they were causing? We all want to live longer, but even more, we want to live better, with a clear mind, a strong body, and inner peace. The truth is, you don't need special diets or expensive supplements for this. Sometimes it all begins with simple decisions. Not lying down immediately, not rushing into intense activity, and not overloading your body unnecessarily. It's easy to say, "I've always done it this way." But the power of awareness gives you a chance to try differently, more gently, more wisely. You don't need to change everything at once. Choose one habit. Try it after your next meal. Give your body that time, that space, that sigh of relief it has been asking for. And if you feel it gets easier, keep going. With each quiet choice that supports your digestion, circulation, and hormonal balance, you simultaneously strengthen your brain, energy, sleep, and longevity. It's as if you're telling your body, "I still care about you." And this simple act of self-respect accumulates subtly but noticeably. You've lived a long life. You've seen trends come and go. But true wisdom lies in noticing what truly works and believing that simple, consistent actions bring us more years, more energy, and more peace.